Well, this is Conspiracy Theories and Chill. We're going to hang out, talk about conspiracies, and I fully want you to participate. It's a participation show, so comment and join in on the conversation and bring up things you'd like to talk about. I'm up on a lot of conspiracies. I can pretty much hold my own in a discussion with most things. But the first thing I was going to get into, and it's not a conspiracy. Well, part of it kind of is, but not in the traditional sense, not in the Illuminati sense, more in the Blue Lives Matter sense. But this shooting, this Botham Jean, you know, the man that was in his own apartment. It was described that he was wearing boxer shorts and a t-shirt, so probably getting ready for bed or in bed. The lights were supposedly off. So anyways, in his own apartment. And Amber Geiger, a police officer who had just gotten off a 15-hour shift, came home. She lives on the 3rd floor. Botham lives on the 4th floor. She went to the wrong floor and she lives directly above, or he directly below Botham. She went to the wrong floor and went in his apartment, thought she was seeing a burglar in her own apartment, and shot twice, killing him. She was in the wrong apartment. She went to the wrong apartment. It was his apartment, you know, and now, 2 hours later, they have a search warrant to search the apartment 2 hours after the incident, and they find a little bit of marijuana, and they want to try to use that to paint this man as some kind of a criminal. What does that have to do with anything? You know what I mean? I wouldn't want you to break down my door right now. But that doesn't make me a criminal. It doesn't mean I should be murdered in my own apartment. Manslaughter. I'm skipping ahead, but they charged her with manslaughter. This is first-degree murder. No, it's ridiculous. How do you go to the wrong apartment in the first place? I went to the wrong car, but she says that she went to the 4th floor of the parking garage on accident. She usually goes to the 3rd floor, so she went up an extra floor on accident, walked down the hallway, the wrong hallway, on accident, walking by different stuff that's not the same, you know, different bikes outside, different shit, you know, everything's different. It's a different level. She gets to Botham's door. He has a bright red doormat. The defense keeps talking about this doormat. Very colorful doormat. And she doesn't notice it. And she says the door was unlocked. But neighbors down the hallway say that they heard knocking and saying, "Let me in." So there's that. But anyways, Amber's account is the door was unlocked. So she goes into the room and sees a shadowy figure, she says, over on the other side. She says she shouted commands, and he was unresponsive to the commands, so she shot twice. That's her side of the story. Those other witnesses down the hallway say that after the shooting, the only sound after the shooting until Amber made her call to 911 was a man's voice. They believe to have been his last words. I'm not even going to try to repeat them because I don't remember them verbatim and I don't want to butcher them. But, you know, something along the lines of, "Why did you do that?" Or, you know, just disbelief. But to charge her with manslaughter, I believe there's a conspiracy there among law enforcement because I think this is clearly first-degree murder. You know? And, you know, a lot of the experts are saying that it's going to a grand jury and they could still make it first-degree murder. And a lot of the experts are expecting it to be upgraded to first-degree murder. But I don't know. I've seen them do the wrong thing too many times. I just can't believe the man was in his own apartment and the police are trying to make it all about, oh, he left the door unlocked. So what? You know what I mean? Maybe he had somebody coming by, maybe he didn't. That don't matter, ain't none of your business. You know what I mean? You walk into the wrong apartment and then suddenly you're in the wrong. It's your home. How is he in the wrong at all? You know what I mean? If this would have been, if this wouldn't have been a person of color, if this would have been a white person, this is in Texas, got killed in your own home, they'd be outraged. There would be public outrage. That girl would be hung up. She would be ruined. She would never be a cop again. She would be in prison for sure. But no, it was an African man, or of African descent. I don't know where he's from. His mother has an accent. I believe they're French. Charles asked, is there a statute of limitations for murder? I believe so. I don't know how long it is, but I believe so. It is crazy. You know, and I just believe that it would be very different if this had been someone white. If it had been a white person's apartment she had walked into. I believe that the reaction and the response in the public would be completely different. In Texas, are you kidding me? I mean, props to the fact that they have promptly arrested her, but manslaughter I don't think was the right charge. I believe it was murder. I think something might come out that those two were involved in some way. You know, because the neighbors say they heard her knocking on the door and a female woman, a voice say, "Let me in." So, and then shortly thereafter, they heard the gunshots. It sounds like they had some kind of a relationship to me. It sounds like she got off work, a long shift, and was thinking about whatever had went on between the two of them and went to his apartment to confront him about it and killed him. That's what I think. And that's really disturbing to me, that, you know, only manslaughter. But hopefully the right thing will be done by the grand jury and it'll get upgraded to a murder charge, which is what it should be. But, you know, the blue people always stick together, don't they? You know, if that had been, I don't know, maybe like, I just think it would have been totally different had that been some redneck's apartment that she shot dead. Some NRA member, gun owning, good old boy, Duck Dynasty watching. I think it'd be a whole lot different. They'd be outraged. There'd be guys walking down the streets with their AR-15s. We'll stand our ground, you sons of bitches. No, it'd be totally different. But anyways, something else I was going to talk about, which I really shouldn't. I hope that somebody's here or somebody joins the conversation that knows more about this than me. But anytime there's a big hurricane or weather event, I always think about HAARP. And I wish I knew the technical details of it, but it is this field, I don't remember where, of antennas, giant antennas that can tamper with the ionosphere. And manipulate the weather. That's what it's for. And as far back as the 70s, I watched a really good video on TrueStream Media about, in the 70s, they openly talked about it on TV, being able to steer storms, because they were bragging about their ability to do it. And something went wrong once, and they, you know, had to admit that was them that did that. And that was the end of them telling us about it. But yeah, they can manipulate the weather. Or at least that's what this HAARP instrument is meant to be able to do. And that's creepy enough, that you're trying to mess with the atmosphere and mess with the weather, to play with it. It's creepy enough. But a lot of people, myself included, believe that it works. And I also believe it ain't the only one. The one we know about ain't the only one. And they manipulate the weather in other ways. But anytime something happens like this, like Hurricane Florence, I think about that. Because right now it's just hitting. So we haven't seen how devastating it's actually going to be. But apparently it's very big, very dangerous storm. Hopefully most people have been able to evacuate or gotten out of there. Because, yeah, Charles is playing God. That's what the purpose of it is. So I imagine it probably works, is what I think. I think that I know that they've been manipulating the weather since at least the 70s, because they used to talk about it. As I said, you can look up on True Stream Media. They have a good video on it where there's news footage of them discussing it and bragging about it in paper, print. But like I say, I don't know enough technical information to dive deep into that. I just believe from what I've seen, it creeps me out. I know that. You know, it's compelling. And anything they could do in the 70s, they can do 10 times, 50 times, probably 100 times better today. So we already know about cloud seeding and geoengineering. Those are things that are admitted to. NASA talks about them. They're on their website. You can look it up yourself on official documents. This is real. They do these things to combat things like global warming and to, fight and create weather. You can look it up. That's admitted to. So what isn't? You know what I mean? They don't tell us everything. So what more can you do? What more do you do? See, it's not so crazy. People like to say that these people that talk about weather manipulation are crazy. It's not so crazy. The technology exists and is in use. So who's to say it doesn't work? Who's to say it wouldn't be used, aimed, weaponized? I think it's all those things. And it's being used against us and will be used to exterminate us to an acceptable level, which they have deemed to be 500 million. It means like 7 billion of us got to go. And that number goes up every day. Charles, I think it's just me and you. Do you have any conspiracies that you're into, man, that you'd like to talk about? We'll dive into it. I've got some notes to talk about other things if you don't. Let's see. For one, let me ask you this, since you're here. What do you think about QAnon? I'm wondering if it's worth my time to look into it. So far, I've just brushed it off as BS. You know what I mean? A psyop. And I haven't followed it at all, like delved into it. But I was thinking about doing a video on it because it is so, I've noticed there's more and more of them showing up on my Facebook feed. Believers in this QAnon. Okay, Charles, you agree with me. Media propaganda agenda. Or that might have been a topic you were bringing up. I'm going to assume you were agreeing with me because it makes me feel better. And, but yeah. Charles says, got one I'm investigating. What is that? No, but this QAnon. I don't know if it's worth my time or not. Let me know. Maybe you're into it. You watch this later. Because we'll leave it up, you know. If you watch it later, go ahead and comment still. I watch these and to go through the comments, and I'll check back in and I'll comment back with you. We can still talk, and it'll give me ideas for later episodes. But anyways, let me know what you think about QAnon, because I'm thinking about maybe looking into it just to do a video on it. You know, I don't know where my opinion would lie in the video. I guess that would be the interesting reveal, whether I come out the other end a QAnon believer or not. But these people believe Trump is a hero. They really do. They believe Trump is going to actually drain the swamp, that there's going to be a massive amount of arrests and that the elite are going down. They believe this. And they believe that there's someone in the White House that's leaking information to allow the regular people to know and be involved in this event that's going to happen. That's my understanding of what QAnon believers believe. Holy shit. Okay. Sorry, I just read Charles' comment. Charles said 20 years ago, my best friend was murdered while I was in the next cell. I'm sorry for your loss. I can't even imagine what that would be like. But you're working on a conspiracy, video or movie about that? Or trying to solve the murder on your own? Which way is it? I hope it's both. That would be an interesting book even. The murderer is running for governor. Holy shit, this is a movie. Yeah. That's fascinating. Do you know? So you are a witness. Were you never asked, or there was no investigation? I bet it does. He says it haunts him. I bet it does. If you're just joining us, this is Conspiracy Theories and Chill, and we just hang out and talk about conspiracies. We can talk about anything you want. This is a participation show, so comment. Me and Charles have been talking about something personal to Charles, actually, a murder that took place 20 years ago, and ex-sheriff. Holy shit. So he just came into his cell and killed him. And you saw it? Sorry, we were having a conversation. But if you're just joining us, you can talk about whatever you want, any conspiracy you want. I've got some things written down that we might get into. It was ruled a suicide. I hope you don't mind me asking, but how did he die? You know, what was the cause of death? While he answers, I'm going to give y'all a chance to think about some things you want to talk about. Any conspiracy you want. I'm pretty well versed in most, so you can bring up anything you'd like. See, we've got a couple people here right now, so yeah, you can comment if you'd like to. Please share. Hung. He was hung. That is awful. I'm again sorry for your loss. Was that sheriff in his cell? Is that what happened? He had just recently been in his cell. Is that the last person that went in there? Maybe. It's crazy. Oh, zero chance that he could have hung himself. Yeah, I imagine it would be rough, pretty hard to hang yourself in a jail cell. They're kind of designed for that. It's not impossible, though. I mean, you hear about it, but something else that if you, for the people that are a little smarter than I am, let me know if 5G technology, I've seen videos that talk about it that are even positive that make it seem like it's freaking scary and they don't fully understand it. But then there's videos that talk about it's the end of everything. That it's gonna control our emotions and be able to dial into us on a vibrational scale and manipulate your feelings and manipulate your memory, manipulate your brain. Charles says 2 guards and him. So the sheriff and 2 guards had just recently came in and saw your friend, and then soon thereafter, or whenever the next time someone checked on them, or the doors opened, or you know what I'm trying to say. The next check-in, he was discovered he had hung himself. Right after the sheriff and 2 of these guards went in there. And I bet you have a fucking really good stories about these guys. I bet you they're corrupt as hell. You should write a book, man. And who knows, maybe you'll solve your best friend's murder, or at least raise awareness. I would read it. I'm looking at my notes. Something I've lost 30 friends with over the last 2 days, or yesterday. No, the last, not even 24 hours. I think I posted it. I don't know. I don't remember when, but it hasn't been that long. It hasn't even been a day. I've lost 30 friends over a 9/11 post where I said, what did I say? If you believe the official 9/11 story, you'll believe anything. So 30 people have unfriended me over that post. And, but there's also been some interesting comments from both sides. I've got people that agree with me, but there's a lot of people on there that don't agree with me. And some have been more constructive in their arguments than others. I think you know what I'm talking about if you spend a lot of time here on Facebook. A lot of people aren't very good at discussing or expressing their ideas, and they're not very good at being challenged at all. They don't like that. So I, on the other hand, like a good debate and would like to have my mind changed if even possible, which I think it's possible. I know I'm not closed-minded. I didn't come to all this by being closed-minded. Hi, politics and stuff. Good to see you. I'm going to share this to a group. So I want to get some more people here. We can keep going. I mean, we haven't even been on very long. So I shared it to a couple more places. If you want to share it, and we're just talking conspiracies and hanging out. Please comment whatever you want to talk about. I was talking about how I've lost 30 friends over a 9/11 Facebook post. And what's funny is Sunday I'm debating J. Roan Torgerson, Sergeant J from Burn One. I'm debating, and he's gonna be on the side of the official story. You're gonna have to admire his debating skills, because he says only a strong debater can debate both sides. So he has chosen to be on the side of the official story, and I am going to represent 9/11 truthers, or crazy conspiracy theorists. So I'll be on the conspiracy theorist side. The official story is bullshit side, and Sergeant J is going to be rocking out the official story side somehow. I'm going to have to see it to believe it. And I couldn't do it. I would fail that debate class. I would snap halfway through my argument. I'd be like, no, you know what? You're right. I'd start agreeing with the other side. Yeah, 30 friends in less than a day. And only 2 have said bye in the comments, like, see you later, dipshit, or whatever. But yeah, 30. I think it's funny. Because, a lot of people get mad when you tell them you don't believe things like 9/11 official story, because they think that means you're disrespecting the people that died. No, I'm trying to honor the people that died and stop more people from dying. You know how many people have died since over a lie? Millions. 3,000 died on 9/11 in the attacks, roughly. Thousands of first responders since, hundreds of thousands, have horrible cancers from the asbestos and the chemicals in the air that they were not properly warned about or properly equipped for. And nothing's being done for them. They've been left out to dry. They've had to start their own. No, I'm just seeing politics and stuff, Cindy. But yeah, it's good to know who it is. First, I thought it was Paul. Yeah, it always just looks like politics and stuff to me. I never see you guys' name. And me too. Like, I feel weird. Like, sometimes, you know how it's kind of silly to like your own posts. Like, I'm an ad or a contributor at politics and stuff. So I have like power. When I'm on politics and stuff, I show up as politics and stuff. So when I like stuff, I'm liking it as politics and stuff. Like, we're liking our own stuff, which I guess is all right. I don't mean to do it. Like, I just like the post. I'll be scrolling through my Facebook and it'll be a politics and stuff post, and I hit like, and all of a sudden we liked our own post. But I never know what I should do in those instances. I always wonder if I should, unlike the post. Like, okay, oh shit, I just like my own post. So, struggle is real. Struggle is real. Anyways, I'm debating Sergeant J Sunday. I cannot get a hold of him. I was hoping he would show up here because I want to know what time so I can promote it. I'm trying to get him to agree to 5 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday to meet for our debate. But we're going to do it on politics and stuff, and it's going to be fun. Like I said, Jay is going to do the official story side, and I will be the 9/11 truther conspiracy theorist side. That's weird. Cindy says I'm seeing my post twice. One has my name and the other shows politics and stuff. That's odd. Facebook's glitchy. You know what I mean? They're probably updating some spying software and it's causing a glitch. Hi, Lori. I'm good, Cindy. I'm chilling out. I'm waiting for Babos to get home. That's her right now texting me. But we're just hanging out talking conspiracies. Right now, I'm on the subject of 9/11 because, like I said, I made a Facebook post. And all I said was, I don't remember. It was just something short. Oh, if you believe the official story of 9/11, you'll believe anything. And like I said, only 2 people have said goodbye. Hold on, I gotta tell her what I'm doing. All right, that was Babels. She wanted to know what I was doing. But if you're here, go ahead and make anything you want to talk about. Because I can pretty much hold my own in a conspiracy theory story. So, but we'll talk about it. Just touch on 9/11 just for a second, because since I'm getting ready for this debate with Jay, I'm diving back into my research of 9/11 and I'm looking for things that are new to me. And I watched a video of expert versus expert, where it was just official story experts, 1 or 2 that would back up the official story, and then the conspiracy side of it. So you can see both sides. And it was incredibly interesting. But in the video, there was, again, like in most, in all actually, there was the buildings collapsing. Every time I see it, from the first time I saw it, it's not right. There's something wrong about it. And I think everybody knows it. And really, I believe that you're supposed to fucking know it. I think it's part of it. It was a subliminal attack on the American population that was designed to make us support the war on terror. But I think more than that, just these are satanic fucks. They wanted to get in our heads. You're supposed to know. I think you're supposed to know. You're at least supposed to know something's wrong. It's one of their rules. The rules of the Illuminati, they need to tell you. You have to reveal your plan. You got to tell the sheep what you're doing to them. And then our silence is our consent. That's why you can't be silent. Hold on. Babas asked me a question. While I'm answering Babas, go ahead and comment anything you want to talk about. So the few of you that are here, any conspiracy that's on your mind. And I'm just see if I can kick it around with you for a minute. All right. But anyways, I was watching the buildings collapse over and over again. And I'm like, this is wrong. Every time I see it, I'm like, more and more each time even. Like, how do you look at this? How can you look at this and not see a controlled demolition? 1, 2, and 7. And how do you explain 7? Nobody can explain 7 to me. Building 7, the collapse of Building 7. Nobody can explain it to me. They'll sell you that pancake theory collapse on World Trade 1 and 2. But no matter who I debate about it or no matter what I try and find about it, no one really has anything for Building 7. Cindy says, I know something's wrong. I don't claim to know the details. I say follow the money. And there's a lot of money to follow. The day before 9/11, the Pentagon announced, for example, they were missing 2.3 trillion with a T dollars. They just didn't know where it was. Not black ops money, not secret money, not any of that. That's not the reason. Just missing. They don't know where it is. $2.3 trillion. Today, that number is over 21 trillion, by the way. And they still don't know. They have no idea. They're leaking money somewhere, hemorrhaging massive amounts of money equal to our national debt. Isn't it? What is our national debt? No, the national debt's in the hundreds of trillions, right? Someone correct me. But massive amount of money anyway. That's a lot of friggin' zeros. You just don't know where it is. Anyways, there's that. Then there's all the stuff that was in Building 7. There was the Security and Exchange Commission, which was investigating Enron, and all of that. Every bit of the evidence was in Building 7 and destroyed. And people got off. People got away with a lot. There was more than that hidden in that building. That was a very well-populated building. It had CIA in it. It had FBI in it. It had Secret Service in it. It had an entire floor that was for emergencies, for the mayor, a command center. It was like a fortress. And the 23rd floor of the Building 7 was the mayor's emergency response center. And it was bomb-proof and all kinds of stuff-proof. And that's where the mayor should have gone in an emergency such as 9/11. It's understandable why he didn't, because the attack was at the towers, which is only a football field away from Building 7. So, Cindy says in Karl Rove. Karl Rove made a ton of money. Dick Cheney made billions of dollars on 9/11 and on the aftermath of 9/11. But billions with a B. I think $6 billion alone from Halliburton, which he was CEO of before he became vice president and went right back to being CEO of after he left the office of vice president. Lori says a lot of people were told not to go to work that day. That's true. Matter of fact, Larry Silverstein had breakfast every morning since he took it over at Windows in the World, the restaurant at the top of the World Trade Center. And he skipped his breakfast that morning to go to a doctor's appointment, he says. But that's odd. Larry would have been at breakfast, and he'd have been trapped up there. Because Windows on the World is at the top, and that tower got hit first, and it got hit about the 83rd floor. So he would have been trapped. Cindy says Blackwater. Cheney's part of Blackwater too. Isn't he on their board? Yeah. And Blackwater made a ton of money off Iraq. They're not called Blackwater anymore, are they? They might still be. But there's a new one that isn't DeVos's brother the head of. They're trying to, corporatize the military. I got to look that up again. I almost did a story on it because I flirted with these coming backs. I flirted with my comeback a couple times, but never actually went and pulled the trigger. But I missed it. It's fun. I like hanging out with you guys. I talked about this already, but I'm going to talk about it again. I haven't talked about it with you guys. Did any of you guys watch Joe Rogan? Did you see Elon Musk on Joe Rogan? Elon Musk spent a lot of his time talking about AI and the dangers. Most importantly, the dangers of AI. And he seemed very concerned, deeply concerned. I believe he's someone in the know. I don't know how I feel about him completely. He could be a shill. I believe he's a genius, though. I believe he is a very smart man. And I believe he is in the know. I believe he is somebody that would be informed. If he don't like what he knows, I can tell you that. It creeps me out. It makes me wonder how far away from Skynet we actually are. Laura, you should look it up. Look up the Joe Rogan episode with Elon Musk. Trust me, when you watch it, you'll see what I'm talking about. He is deeply concerned. And he says he has a fatalistic view of humanity now. He just doesn't think there's any hope. We're done. Things have gone too far. And it's disturbing to me. You know, I don't fully believe everything out of SpaceX. I believe they're a lot like NASA. It's fake. You're not going into outer space anyway. There's no car in outer space, I don't believe. I'll tell you that. I don't believe Tesla put a car in outer space. I believe that's fake as shit. I just don't. But if you're just joining us, this is Conspiracy Theories and Chill, live from politics and stuff. And we can talk about whatever you want. We're just hanging out and talking. We're going to hang out for a little while longer so we can talk about any conspiracy you'd like. I've got some written down that I'm going to go through. We were just talking about 5G technology and 9/11. I was talking a little bit about Elon Musk on Joe Rogan. Just all kinds of things. Whatever you want. Go ahead and comment and participate. Let me know you're here. Smash on that like button. I love seeing that. Like a toy. Like I get easily entertained. Anyways, something else I wrote down. I find it very interesting, and I believe this is a really good sign, and I'll tell you why. Obama coming out in support of Medicare for all. A corporate Democrat stooge like Obama, which I hope we agree he is. You know, might see my feet cut in half. A lot of people love Obama. He's a very charismatic man, very likable man. Not denying that. But he was corporate to the bone. He's coming out in support of Medicare for all. That means that the Democrats are getting on board with it. That means that they're at least realizing that they're going to have to give us something. It might not be Bernie Sanders, but it might be Medicare for all. They give you little signals. You know what I mean? And he didn't just come to that. He doesn't just say what he comes to. He's told what to say. Lori says Obama. Yeah. Obama. Most deaths by drone strike of any president. And, you know, I know drone strikes ain't been around that long, but the president before him was George W. Bush. And we were at war the entire time he was president. So Obama is the king. Has yet to be dethroned. We'll see. And he has a Nobel Peace Prize. Very charismatic man. Very well. I don't want to say well-spoken because then it sounds racist. But well-spoken. I'll go ahead and say it. Take it how you want. But the way I mean it is the rhythm. There's a rhythm to public speaking. JF Kennedy had it. Bill Clinton had it. Obama has it. That, yes, we can. I can't do a good Obama, but you know what I'm talking about. That punctuation, you have it or you don't. He has it. In spades. Very charismatic man. Very, very television friendly. Very, very, you could be proud of him. I'll give you that one too. You could be proud of him and their family as our president and first lady. But not proud of him as far as the job he was doing for the American people. And not proud of him as far as his war record, his deaths by drone strike, which are, you have to understand, when you kill somebody by drone strike, let's say you even get the person you were intending to kill, which sometimes they don't. But in the process of getting that person, you kill 10, 20, 30 other people that had nothing to do with it. Casualties. Most of the deaths. So when you look at a figure of Obama's death rate, by drones, something like in 3,000. You got to think a huge percent of that were people that had nothing to do with it, just lived in that apartment complex or were at that store, that gathering, that wedding, whatever. That funeral, even. We bombed a lot of things that are just, you'd think you'd at least respect a funeral or a wedding, even for somebody you're assassinating, because you got to think everyone else there has nothing to do with it. But collateral damage, they just don't care. So him using that method and him leaning on that method so heavily that he is by far the most drone strikes by any president. And that just goes to show you, doesn't care about collateral damage. These people, these innocent people that die in these drone strikes, they don't matter. Politics and stuff says, I've told my family if I die, I'm not a willing organ donor until we have health care for all. Is that still Cindy? I think we're going to get it. I think this is an excellent sign. Obama coming out in support of it. The Democrats are in big trouble. Russiagate is fake news. Russiagate is to cover up the fact that they rigged the 2016 Democratic primary and that Bernie Sanders should be president right now. They made an alternate reality where Donald Trump is president, and they don't know how to explain that. So they made up this whole story about Russiagate. Russia rigged the election. That's how Donald Trump became president. When we all know damn well how Donald Trump became president. Donald Trump became president because of people like me, the Bernie or Bust movement, and progressives and independents and non-voters, people that just didn't vote. That's why Trump's president. Trump's not president because of Russia. Russiagate is bullshit. Oh, I just got smoke in my eye. It burns. Smoking is so stupid. If you're watching this, it doesn't look cool. It looks stupid. I thought it looked cool. I started because of a girl. When I was 13. She was a Catholic schoolgirl. She was 3 years older than me, and she smoked. And she used to blow it in my mouth when we was kissing. It was hot. I got addicted to cigarettes. Thought they were cool. That was like 30 years ago. Anyways, how many of you follow the Georgia Guidestones? Georgia Guidestones is on the screen right now. How many of you are into that or know about that? The Georgia Guidestones are in, oh, damn it, I can't remember now. Arizona? My hat is crooked and it's bugging me. I'm going to leave it alone. Hey, Robert, I'm glad you could join us, man. 6th grade. Yeah. You remember 6th grade? That's crazy. But yeah, I've been smoking since then. Stupid ass habit. Worst thing I ever started doing. I've tried quitting 3 times. The longest I ever made it was 6 months. They're very addictive. They're very addictive. See, I was even reaching for one just now. I just put one out. See, I smoke a lot doing live feeds, I've noticed, and I smoke a lot when I'm driving. Those are the 2 times I chain smoke. The rest of the time, I probably only smoke 1 an hour. For those of you watching that think I must be dead in 3 weeks. Politics and stuff. Cindy says, cannabis is cool. Edibles will probably a healthier choice. I wish Texas would let us grow it. Yeah, it should be legal everywhere. It will be. It will be. But it should be already. It's a crime against humanity that it was ever illegal. Cannabis is a miracle put here by God for us to enjoy and use. That's my personal belief. You don't have to believe the God part. But nature, let's say nature is your God. Nature put that here for us to use. It is just too versatile and too useful of a plant for you to convince me that there's something wrong with using it. It's a miracle. But it doesn't help you quit smoking, because I wouldn't smoke. If you could replace it with cannabis, I wouldn't smoke. So if anything, nicotine enhances cannabis. They go good together, kind of like nicotine and alcohol, or nicotine and coffee, caffeine. Nicotine is a good pairing drug, which is what makes it so strong. You know, it goes with so many things, and it ties in so easily with so many habits. And you know, like my hands, it gives my hands something to do. It gives oral fixation. It's all kinds of things. Cindy says she chews nicotine gum. It's very addictive. Yeah, it says you're still getting nicotine. But I've thought about that, because I have a job where, you know, you only get one break, and then it might be 6 hours before you get out of there again. And that's hard for somebody. I smoke a pack a day. You know, that's hard for somebody that smokes that much, to go 6 hours without a cigarette. So I've been thinking about getting me some nicotine gum, because I have to deal with the public in my job, and I have to be nice. So I need help with that sometimes. It's hard to be nice when you haven't had a cigarette for 5 hours. Get a little cranky. At least I do. I'm addicted to them damn things. And by the way, they knew those were addictive from the beginning. That's a conspiracy itself. Conspiracies are real. If you're just tuning in, conspiracy theory is a made-up term. Conspiracy theorist, rather, is a made-up term used to discredit free thinkers, made up by the CIA. But we're talking conspiracies, and it's a conspiracy that cannabis is illegal. I did an episode of Conspiracy Theories and Chill on that. Check it out on my YouTube channel, Me on Things and Stuff. But yeah, cannabis was legal. It was in a lot of medicine, you know, before they started a smear campaign. You know, they called it marijuana. They didn't call it cannabis. They started a smear campaign and a propaganda campaign against it, a very racist propaganda campaign against it, and made it illegal. Before that, it was legal, and hemp was used in production, manufacturing. Cannabis' cousin, is extremely useful plant that has thousands of uses. You can make fuel from it, strongest rope, paper, and you can grow a crop, and 90 days later have a new crop. Completely sustainable. It's not like cutting down a field of trees and it takes hundreds of years to grow back that field of trees. It doesn't matter that you're replanting them. You're cutting them down at a rate that's far exceeding how many you're planting and how long it's going to take them to grow. And shit, you're paving most of it, so what are they going to grow through? Cindy says one day she'll rise above the nicotine gum. It's better than smoking, though. Yeah, it is. It's a nasty habit. It's a nasty habit. But let me know if there's anything you guys want to talk about. At the beginning of the show, and I want to touch on it one more time, you may have been following this in the news, this case of Botham Jean. I don't know why I mess up his name every time I try to say it. Botham Jean. He was shot dead in his apartment by a female cop, Amber Geiger. She lives directly below Botham, and parked on the wrong floor of the parking garage complex, she says. Went to Botham's apartment thinking it was hers, and went in, thought he was a burglar, and shot him. Now, the neighbors say that there was knocking on the door, and a woman saying, "Let me in." But just giving you both sides of it. Anyways, so she didn't notice she was in the wrong apartment, and she murdered this man in his own apartment in Texas. And there's no public outrage. This woman's only been charged with manslaughter, this female officer. So a non-intentional murder. It's a level 2 felony. I don't think if she wasn't a cop, she would be charged with manslaughter. I think if she wasn't a cop, she'd have been charged with murder. So that's a conspiracy. You tie it into the show. Shit, I got pictures in the slideshow like Mitch Hedberg, so not everything has to do with conspiracy. I don't think there was a conspiracy surrounding Mitch Hedberg's death, for example. It's tragic, but I don't think it was a conspiracy. Just a great comic. Someone I admire. Let's see. We touched on a lot of stuff. Anyways, I just think it's awful, and I hope it's going to grand jury, the Botham Jean case. Botham Jean. And the grand jury has the opportunity to raise it to murder 1, which is what I think it should be, and what the protesters want it to be. And the family is a murder charge. And I hope that's what they do. I hope they do the right thing. A lot of experts are saying they probably will, so we'll follow it and see. Yeah, Cindy says there's not much public outrage. Not enough still. Not at all. And if it had been a white person in Texas, got killed in your own home, there'd be people walking down the street with AR-15s. They'd be writing, "You sons, will you respect our homes?" And oh, it'd be totally different. If that would have been an NRA, Duck Dynasty watching, like I said, person, this would have been a totally different story. But you have this black man who is a well-educated member of society, a productive member of society, church-going. They can't. The worst thing they could find on him, they got a search warrant. They actually got a search warrant. She killed this man in his own apartment, unarmed, in his own apartment. Shot him dead. 2 hours later, they got a search warrant, found a little bit of weed, and they're focusing on that in the media. Trying to use that little bit of weed to be like, oh, he's a criminal. You know, marijuana is harmless. Marijuana is medicine. Marijuana is for everybody. Marijuana is not bad. So you're not going to use marijuana to convince me anybody's bad. That's laughable. Cindy says the Dallas Police Department is being very cruel and disrespectful. Doubt it. Blue lives matter. Then blue line. Them sons of bitches. You know what I mean? That's the undoing of themselves. That's bad PR. They don't care. And I don't think they're looking for suggestions on a new slogan, but that is bad PR. And a good cop should not follow the thin blue line, and whether through fear of retribution or through respect of the principle. A good cop shouldn't do that. A good cop should turn in a bad cop. Otherwise, you're not a good cop. So then now you're a bad cop. Anybody got anything that they want to add or they'd like to talk about before we wrap up? We've been going for about an hour, so I'm getting tired. I worked a long day today, but I wanted to do a feed. I just got an itching to do one. And I wanted to talk about that Botham Jean case. I said his name right. I'm so happy. I didn't care if I messed up the cop's name, but I wanted to get his name right. And I believe that there, like I said, the neighbors down the hall say that there was knocking and a woman saying, "Let me in." And I think it's going to come out that these two had an involvement. I think she knew him. They knew each other in some way. They had some kind of a relationship. Maybe not, maybe. But I think there's a lot more to it than she accidentally parked on the wrong level, went to the wrong house, didn't see his bright red doormat, didn't notice it, walked in, didn't notice anything was different, saw somebody across the apartment, thought it was a burglar in her own apartment. I'm not buying it at all. At all. And the family's not buying that Botham would have left his apartment unlocked. I don't know. It doesn't matter to me whether he left it unlocked. I don't think that part matters. But the family doesn't believe, and his attorney doesn't believe that, the attorney representing the family, in his statement, they don't believe that Botham would have left the door unlocked. But, which I guess would mean that the knocking, that he had let her in. But the witnesses that talk about the knocking say that the gunshots were soon after. Soon after the let me in. And then after that, all they heard was a man's voice until the cop that shot him got on the phone with 911. And it's then she says that she turned on the lights and realized she was in the wrong apartment. She didn't realize it until after she had killed him. Now, I've gotten the wrong car before. I've almost sat down in the seat. I've gotten that far. So I can be with you till then. But everything is different. I've seen video footage of the apartment complex. There's a bike on that level. There's not a bike on her level. You know, you're walking past different stuff. You're walking past 4s in the parking garage instead of 3s. You go into the door, it's got 4 on it instead of 3. You don't notice any of this. You're a cop. You're supposed to have highly trained observational skills. Don't notice the different doormat, the different number on the door. Open the door. You don't notice different pictures hanging on the wall or lack thereof. You don't notice any different features. Thanks, Cindy. I like doing them. They're fun. And I like doing them from politics and stuff. That's fun. So, works out for everybody. But no, that case is just I don't believe that they had that was an accident. I'm not buying it. There's too many chances for her to have realized I'm doing the wrong thing. I've gotten lost before. I've gotten a little sidetracked. I've went into a room and forgot why I went in there. I've done all those things, so I can understand to a certain point. But so many instances in a row for her to have realized she was doing the wrong thing and to have just wandered into the wrong place believing she was at home. And I'm not buying it. But I'm just also saying that it would be completely different if this wasn't a man of color. It would be completely different if this was a white man or an NRA, redneck, gun-loving American, you know, the kind of person that's burning their Nikes right now. If it was somebody like that, be a lot different reaction. Got killed in your own home, minding your own business, and then they get a search warrant to search your apartment, not hers. They don't want to know what's wrong with her, why she's going around killing people. No. They got a search warrant for the victim's apartment. Exactly. It's crazy. And they find a little bit of weed, and they're trying to use that against him. They have the gall to use that against him. I don't know what a little bit of weed, what the penalty for a little bit of weed in Texas is, but less than an ounce, which I'm assuming he probably had less than an ounce, in the state of Missouri is a slap on the wrist. It's a misdemeanor. So I don't know what it is in Texas. It might be stricter in Texas, but it shouldn't be illegal at all. It won't be soon. You know, it's already past the tipping point. If we didn't have a Republican leaning Supreme Court, I believe it already would have been legalized. Obama probably legalized it. Just like he could have pushed for universal health care, but he didn't do it, which shows you that he doesn't believe in it. But him coming out in support of it now makes me think that they're realizing they're going to have to give us something. You know, we've shown our power. They're going to have to negotiate. And I believe that they're putting Medicare for all on the table. And that's a good thing. Doesn't mean we completely come to their side. Never will I tell you who to vote for. I'm be like Bernie on that. You know what I mean? Vote for people, not party. I'm never going to be like, ooh, Democrat all the way. No, you got to earn my vote. Let's see. Anybody talking about anything? Because if not, I'm probably just going to wrap up. Thank you so much for hanging out and watching the show. Share it. And you can comment later. If you watch it later on, I'll be watching. I check back in all the time. I'll address your comments. And maybe it'll give me something to talk about on the next Conspiracy Theories and Chill. I don't know when that'll be. These are kind of random at this point. I just started coming back and doing these. But I'll see you next time, whenever that is, right here from Politics and Stuff. I've been Sean. Thanks for stopping by. See you guys later. It's kind of awkward, isn't it? I already said goodbye, but I'm still here. It's embarrassing, somewhat. If I was capable of being embarrassed.